Yeah, man.
You boxing somebody?
What's up going on, bro?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, today we got a special guest. We got Steve Joppy, the brother of William Joppy. Uh, if you're not familiar with him, then we about to get you familiar with him. Uh, yeah, he had great fights with many great champions. Roberto Duran being one of them. And with us having his brother here, we about to get some of the things that the public didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to know a little bit more about William Joppy and who he was, what he believed in, how he lived, and all of that. So, Steve Joppy, man, hey, I'm glad to have you on my show. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, pleasure you having me, man. I know it's been a long time coming, man. We've been having small little hiccups come up, but our timing is never the right timing, but God's timing is.
Yes, sir. And then life happens too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
definitely. Definitely.
Yes, yes, sir. So, would you tell me a little bit about your brother? As far as like, how y'all came up and stuff.
Um, so my brother, it's my brother and my sister. They're a year apart. My sister was born in '69. My brother was born in '70. They grew up in the house with my mom and dad. But my dad, um, he was a little abusive towards our mother. I was born 7 years later. 3 years after I was born, my parents split up. Um, my brother was always he was different. My father always say to me that he wished he never told me and my brother, if somebody picks with you, go out there and fight them, because he said once he told both of us that, we never stopped. Um, but one thing with my brother, like I said, he was just different. He was a quiet person, but he was one that you didn't want to mess with. He wasn't big, but you would thought he was big, even though he was 5'9", 5'10", but he walked around like he was 8 feet tall. Some things people don't realize, most fighters, Trinidad, um, Bernard Hopkins, a lot of those guys, Oscar, all of those guys fought at a young age coming up. My brother didn't start fighting until he was 21, and he only did amateur fighting for 1 year.
Man,
And but before that, I mean, my brother was, I said, he was in the streets. He was on drugs at one time, but he was the one I mean, he beat everybody in the neighborhood. Everybody, it's almost like a Terrence Crawford story. Nobody could beat him. I mean, he was one in where we grew up at, down in DC and in Lincoln Park and Rockville, that if my brother was a mile away and he was coming around Moore Drive where we grew up at, all the main drug dealers, all the people that was, supposed to be getting money, they called my brother Whammy. They heard Whammy was coming around, they found a reason to go in the house. Because when he came up, whatever you had in your pocket, it wasn't no guns, none of that. He walk up on you like, what you got in your pocket? Let me get that. And it was either you gonna get it or you going to sleep. Like that real Beanie Siegel, get down or lay down, is really what he was about. And I mean, that just was his mentality. Like he didn't care. He didn't care how big you was. None of that. It didn't make no difference. He would fight anybody and everybody. And you couldn't say nothing sideways to him because he was gonna hit you in the mouth. I remember one time, him and my cousin Rico, rest in peace, my cousin Rico passed away from cancer. Um, they were at a club, and I mean, this was something that carried on for years. They were at a club. This was before my brother started boxing, and somebody was arguing with my cousin Rico and hit him in the mouth with a bottle and knocked him out. But my brother had stepped off to talk to a girl. He came back and seen my cousin Rico knocked out. he asked a couple dudes at the bar, who did this? Who did this? The dudes pointed to a group of dudes. And my brother, literally, this is, I mean, and I'm not even exaggerating. I think he knocked out like 25, 30 dudes that night. And it was two dudes from DC that had his back. He fought the whole club and whipped everybody in the club.
Dang.
Everybody.
Hey, so was it with him being that way? Was it tough being his brother, or did you love
Oh,
it?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Nah. I mean, it was good because me coming up, I whipped a lot of older dudes. But to be honest with you, I know I couldn't whip them. I think they let me whip them because they knew if they beat me, they had to deal with my brother. So I mean, and I ain't ashamed to say it. You know, I got a lot
Yeah,
of victories because of who my brother was. You know, a lot of respect. I mean, all the way to the point where, you know, I went to prison, and I mean, in there, my brother came to see me. I was in Jessup, and I mean, after he came to see me, I'm talking about big respect. I mean, I was in there boxing, and you know, dudes was boxing me, and you know, everybody wanted to be able to say, "Oh man, I knocked out Willia Joppy, brother." I mean, it never happened, but the respect. I mean, it was something when he was fighting, but coming up as a youngin with him, um, it was cool at some points, but then it wasn't. Me and my brother didn't really get along that well.
yeah.
Um,
I,
that
you
sibling that sibling rivalry thing, man. My brother used to whip me. Like, you would see us fight and you would think we two dudes from the neighborhood.
That's why I asked you that too, because I figured if that was his mentality, he didn't really care who it was. You know, what I'm
Nah,
saying?
he didn't he
Brother,
didn't care.
he ain't gonna probably whoop you like he'll whoop some like them, but he gonna let you know.
Nah, he whipped me like he whipped them. Like, he ain't have no favoritism on none of that. Now, if you did something to me, you might, with him, you probably want to leave town.
Right,
But
right.
he can do whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, to be honest with you, up until the day, it's the same way. Like, he ain't no different. Like, he was working at Metro, and some little young dude said something slick to him. He got fired because he lumped him up. Like, he's not one. I tell people all the time, like, he had came down and had worked with me at my moving company. And the guy was like, "Man, that's your brother, man. I'm about to go talk to him about the Trinidad fight." I'm telling them, like, listen, be
Don't tell him.
mindful of what you say. They're like, "Man, what you mean?" I'm like, "I'm telling you. Like, take it from me. Y'all already know I'm a firecracker. Y'all got respect for me." I said, "He's 10 times worse than me. If you say something sideways, it's not gonna be that you, oh, hey, Joppy, I'm your brother's friend. He's gonna whip you. So be mindful of what you say to him. Like, this is how he is till this day. The same way. He's not one to play with."
Hey, so what made your brother want to get into boxing?
Um, well, my brother, you know, he got in and out of jail. He was in, you know, a little juvenile thing, and then he got locked up. Um, he had finally got locked up. I think it was that he snatched the chain off a white dude or something in Lake Forest Mall, or he strong arm robbed a car wash. He did something, and he did like 18 months. I mean, he graduated from school. He went to Kennedy, then he got kicked out of Kennedy because he cut a dude from, shoot, I think from ear to mouth, like cut his whole face open because the dude had cut him. Um, and anyway, he graduated from high school. He got locked there 18 months, and then he came out, and I think it was 90. Yeah, I think he came out in 1990, and he really didn't have an idea on what to do. You know, he was, you know, selling little drugs here and there, but he was like, he met Charles Mooney. Charles Mooney was he fought in the Olympics. I think he fought with Sugar Ray and them.
Uh-huh.
Um, and Charles Mooney was running Hooker's Gym, and he had my brother come over there, and he was like, "Nah, I want to train you." And I guess back then they had like novelists and open. One of them was, if it's your first amateur fight, it'll be the person you fight first amateur fight. Then one of them was, it could be your first amateur fight, and the dude you fight won Golden Gloves 3 years in a row. So my brother fought in that, and his first fight, I think the dude was like 3-time Golden Glove champ, and my brother like knocked him out in like the first round. And he just, I mean, he stuck with it, you know, and he was undefeated all the way up until he went to the Olympic trials, and he fought Chris Bird in the Olympic trials. And he lost to Chris Bird by points. If I'm not mistaken, I think he dropped Chris Bird like twice, but Chris Bird beat him by points because amateur boxing is about scoring points. And after that, you know, he went on to turn pro. But I think that he just got tired of dealing with and going through what he was going through, and he knew that he was good at he was good at everything. He played football. You know, some kids are just born with that ability. I think he could have made it in football and basketball because he was good at both, but he couldn't leave the streets alone, and the anger in him couldn't keep him disciplined enough. And I think boxing was something that I think a lot of people do that have those mental problems, like James Toney. A lot of those guys that I met were similar to my brother. They was naturally skilled, but they needed something that can draw their attention, but can also keep them to their self, because they couldn't really want to be around a lot of people. And boxing is that sport where it's just you and you can deal with you. And I think that's what drew him to boxing, because it was just him. It was all up to him. He didn't have to depend on nobody, because he never liked to depend on anybody. He don't really trust nobody. So, you know, he did that, and he knew the few people that was around him, he only needed them for, you know, the coaches or whatever. And I think that's why he really went into boxing. And plus, like I said, I mean, he was beating everybody up in the streets. He was like, why not get paid for it?
Right. It sounded like he was the type of guy who liked to fight, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't really like to he wasn't a people person, you know. So you don't want to play a team sport when you're not really a people person. So so boxing, all you got to do is depend on yourself and your skills, and make sure you do what you're supposed to do as far as, you know, your road work and you're working out and stuff, and your diet. It's all up to you in boxing, you know.
And I mean, and he was real disciplined on that, but I think it was really because he could isolate himself from everybody. And if he failed, he knew it couldn't be nobody's fault but his.
Right. So you said he went to the Olympic trial and lost Bird. Chris Bird wound up being a heavyweight.
Right? Yeah, he came out of the Olympics. I think he fought a couple middleweight fights, but then he turned heavyweight.
And your brother fought at middleweight.
Yeah, it was middleweight.
And that just go to show you, though. You know what I'm saying? The size difference. I'm sure they had to weigh in at the same size in the Olympics, but it's just going to show how much bigger Chris Bird got than your brother did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, my brother back in the day at round one, I mean, any heavyweight that came in there, you had Corey Saunders, you had Riddick Bowe, you had Hakeem Rockman, all of them, you know, used to come down round one with Adrian Davis. And bro, I'm telling you, they had a dude named Mo Gray. Mo Gray was a heavyweight too. But my brother had got into it with I want to say it was Hakeem Rockman or somebody, one heavyweight in there, and the dude was running his mouth to my brother like, you know, you too small and you this. And when I tell you, my brother went on this dude, my brother whipped this heavyweight so bad, the Bama tried to crawl under the ring to get away from my brother.
Wow.
Like when I tell you, he didn't care who you was. Didn't care who you was. When we met, I met Mike Tyson in '96 when Mike Tyson came out. And I remember being in the gym, and I literally watched Mike Tyson hit a heavy bag and make the bottom of the heavy bag rip open. And Mike Tyson told my brother, come on, let's spar. Me, I'm thinking, nah. Like
Right.
Nah,
So
you know,
I would have been thinking,
yeah, and that got right in there and they was going at it.
man.
Going at it. And I'm like, I'm just like, and my brother always say, he said, man, ain't no, you don't be scared of no man. I mean, and they was in that joint clutching. I'm like, he was giving, him and Mike was real close. Like he was giving, I mean, it shocked me, the
And
work that he was giving Mike.
what year was that? Do you remember?
This was
Around.
like 96, 97.
So that was when Mike was still, doing this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was still, but to be honest with you, like I didn't know Mike before, but just watching Mike Tyson and all the stuff, when that time when he came out, Mike wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Mike wasn't the same. Like I don't take nothing from, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, they great fighters or whatever, but I don't think that was the Mike Tyson when Custom Mata had him. I don't think that those guys could have beat Mike Tyson if the trainers could have controlled him.
Right.
But
Right.
but my brother, he would fight anybody. Like it didn't matter. Like I tell you, I'm gonna tell you a story back when my brother was still fighting amateur. We had went out Sugar Ray Leonard's gym. And so yeah, Keith Holmes, if you watch this, you know you my man, but I gotta tell this story, Keith. So we out Sugar Ray Leonard's gym in Palmer Park. And my brother done trained probably like 3-4 hours. He done. We get ready to, leave out. Keith Holmes had won the belt. Keith Holmes coming there with an entourage, probably like 15 to 20 guys deep. He coming there, boasting, as anybody, with that status would, I come in the gym, I'm so and so, I'm the IBF champ, I'm this, everybody supposed to recognize me. So we sitting there and then he looking for somebody to spar, and nobody was really trying to get in there with him because, it kind of came in deep, kind of intimidating. So he looked at my brother, he like, hey, you trying to get some work in? My brother like, yeah. So I'm looking at my brother like, Slim, like we been here all day. Like I'm ready to go. Like, and he fresh. So they had a dude named Manti. He was a real serious dude back in the day around there. And some other dudes that was with him. Keith kept some real serious dudes with him. So they all like, man, Keith, don't let this little nobody, what I'm saying, give you no work. You better handle this, Bama. You handle this, Bama. All of that is how the, DC dudes talk. Man, they get in that ring. Slim. When I say my brother whipped this dude, man, I'm talking about whipped him to the point where at the end of it, everybody that was with him was like, Slim, what's your name, Shawty? Like, for real, like you ain't even tripping. Like you just came in here. Most people be intimidated by the entourage. My brother, like, man, I don't care. He told these dudes that was some serious dudes, and excuse my language on this junk, man, I don't give a fuck who y'all is. Right. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? And from that point on, then my brother came to win the belt. That's why Keith never wanted to fight my brother. Because he knew he was never going to win that fight. Until like years later, then I guess Keith needed some money and wanted to throw it out there, but it never came to fruition. But Keith ain't never want to fight my brother. And Keith, my man. That's my man. Like that's my man, 100 grand. Keith saved me in some situations. That's my man. But he never wanted to see my brother. And my brother was an amateur. And like I said, he only fought amateur 1 year. It wasn't no years. He fought amateur 1 year, turned pro the next year, and a couple years after that, won the title in Tokyo, Japan.
Man. And who was that first title fight against?
Shinji Takahara.
Shinji Takahara.
Yeah, and Tokyo, Japan, he knocked the dude out in the 9th round.
Was he really considered to be a good fighter, Takahara?
Yeah, I mean, I think he had 1 loss.
He was decent.
Yeah, he was decent. I think he was about 6'2".
Oh man.
Yeah.
Middleweight?
Yeah, he was middleweight.
Wow.
Yep.
So I know that reach was tremendous.
Oh
Man,
yeah, but like I said, I tell people, watching my brother from the beginning up until that Trinidad fight. Okay, he had one loss before the Trinidad fight. He lost to Julio Cesar Green in New York, which he was robbed, but he broke his knuckle in that fight. And it was a decision, they gave it to him, but then he came back. He fought the dude twice after that and demolished him both times. But that was his initial first loss. But up till that Trinidad fight, if anybody, and I tell people, I watch boxing, I study boxing. You know what I'm saying? People be saying, like right now, they talking about Terrence Crawford, he running from Boots Enos. I
right.
like Boots. I like Boots tremendously. I think he's a great fighter, but he's not ready for Terrence Crawford.
That's what I say too.
He's not ready.
I got Crawford winning that simply because, hey, before that fight, I was a Spence fan, and I still am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person that's gonna jump ship just because you lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's still man down first for me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Crawford showed me something that night. He did what he had to do. He stayed disciplined. He took good care of his body and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's in the gym. And that's what you gotta do if you want to be great, man. You know what I'm saying? EJ had a couple of misfortunate things happen during his career with the car crashes and stuff, but that stuff could have been man.
I like EJ. I've met him a few times. Good dude, great fighter, but he's and I don't take nothing from him. Like his trainer, James. My brother whipped him in the amateur a few times. And yeah, my brother fought him in the amateurs. He whipped him a few times. And James fought the same way. My brother said it to me too. The same thing I picked out. He's a one trick pony. You know what I'm saying? It's straight come at you, try to beat your body, try to out muscle you. And when you get in there with somebody that is a skilled fighter, it's going to make you look like you're an amateur. And I knew that's how. I didn't think it was going to be that easy, but I knew that the fight with Earl Spencer was going to be easy for Crawford.
Right.
Crawford is different. Like, I don't care. I go back to, and I tell people all the time, I love Mayweather. That's my man. People like, oh, Mayweather is conceited, this and that. No, Mayweather can be how he want to be. He 50-0. But I tell you, two fighters that will go back to the Hearns, Duran, Hagler, Sugar Ray era. And it's only one of the two that I say that could make it back there and could possibly be undefeated. The only one to me is Terrence Crawford. I don't think Mayweather would be undefeated if he fought back in that era. It's just something different about Bud that none of these fighters got. It's just different. Yeah, and I like Earl, man. I like Earl, but I knew that fight was going to go similar that way.
I didn't think it was. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I did because it's just like when Terrence fought Sean Porter. He controlled. People were saying, "Oh, Sean Porter was beating him," and I like Sean Porter. To me, Sean Porter and Earl Spencer should have been a draw. I don't think Earl beat him enough to get that win. I think that it should have been a draw. That flash knockdown, he caught him flesh on the chin, but that shouldn't have been enough to win the fight. It should have been a draw because I had Sean Porter up. I could be wrong, but like I said, I love all of these fighters, but Terrence Crawford is different. Yeah, Boots Enos is different, but I'm saying I think he needs some more time. He needs some more decent fights with some other people, because one thing with boxing, it takes a lot to come back from a loss. And to me, with Earl Spencer, and everybody say, you know, the accident and all that, but you remember he had 2 fights after those accidents and he demolished who he fought. So I don't use that. Earl Spencer came back and he was ready, but Terrence Crawford is just different. One
Yeah.
fighter that never came back from a loss was David Reed when Trinidad knocked him out and messed his retina up. It takes a lot to come back from getting knocked out mentally. And I don't think now Earl, to me, I think Earl should let boxing go. You did enough.
I disagree, but I wanted to ask
you.
I wanted to ask you about your brother when he fought Duran, man. Do you were you there?
Yeah.
You was there?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any stories about that fight? You know what happened in that fight?
Well, Roberto Duran was fighting because he owed taxes. He shouldn't never fought. In that fight, you know, everybody was saying, oh, if Willia Joppy who he is, he need to demolish Duran. Duran old. My brother has so much respect for Roberto Duran. Hands of stone. You know who that is. No mas. You know, for you as a boxer coming up, the way that we come up, we watch these fighters, you know, and to actually be in the ring with one of these guys is any, you know, like a young kid now come up and he can get in the ring with Mayweather. That's a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? That's like, this is Roberto Duran. Like, I seen him knock out a donkey. Like, I'm in the ring with him. But you also looking at him as, this man is old. He shouldn't be in here with me. And my brother whipped him, but he didn't want to beat him, as everybody was saying. And after that fight, some people was like, oh, you know, Joppy ain't there. My brother did not want to beat that man like that.
Right.
Because of the respect. And it take a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has that no mercy attitude, but Duran wasn't Duran that fight.
Right.
It was all he needed to check.
Warriors respect warriors, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Warriors, man. It's like boxers got a brotherhood, man, because once you get in that ring and you know you do the things that you got to do that sport, then you get build a camaraderie with other people, especially if they was great and you great too. If they was great, you respect that. That's your elder, like, you know what I'm saying? Show OG, you know. And as great as Roberto Duran was, all the great fights he had, man, he deserved that respect for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I mean, and like I said, that's what it was. It was a respect thing at that fight. You know what I'm saying? My brother didn't want to hurt that man, and he could have hurt him. You know what I'm saying? He really could have hurt him, you know, and you know, he pushed it because when he was whipping him, it was more like, you know, y'all gonna stop this fight? You know, and then he had to push it to the point to make him stop it. Because he didn't want to hurt him, but he had to push it to make the ref stop the fight.
Right.
But it was more of a respect thing, because after that fight, you know, we went in the dressing room and it was all love, and my brother was, you know, apologizing to him because he like, man, you paved the way for me. I watched you as a kid. My father loved you, you know what I'm saying? And it was, you know, Roberto Duran embraced him and, you know, understood. But see, people in the boxing world, you got people that watch boxing and people that understand boxing. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that watch it don't understand it. The ones that understand it don't watch it. You know, that's why I hear people and they talking about Boots Ennis. Oh, he gonna give Crawford this and that. He's not. He's not ready for Crawford. And that's not a smart choice for him right now. Crawford is different, and it could be a place where he'll get in there and he'll get beat and he'll learn from it, like Canelo did with Mayweather. Or he'll get in there and it will mess his whole life up because he could never come back mentally after he take that whipping. Because when Mayweather fought Canelo, Mayweather took Canelo to school, and everybody like, oh, Canelo wasn't ready. Canelo had a whole bunch of fights before that fight. Canelo was a good fighter then, and Mayweather was old. So you make excuses. No, Canelo Mayweather's just that good. But Canelo learned from that. And that's the thing I got respect with Canelo, because he lost that fight and he lost, the Bivol, but he comes back like nothing happened, and that's mental.
Right.
That's mental to come back from stuff like that. And like my brother, lost to Trinidad, and he came back and won the belt twice after that. But that Trinidad fight wasn't his loss. He lost something way before that fight, and he was never the same.
Mm.
And that's a lot of stuff that people don't know the story before that Trinidad fight. But it's a lot with that Trinidad fight.
Is it anything that you can expound on?
Well, if you go back to that Trinidad fight, they had the tournament. It was my brother, Andrew Council, Keith Holmes, Bernard Hopkins. And the winner was to fight Trinidad. And then the winner of that was to fight Roy Jones. But they had Trinidad already winning everything. That's under Don King. People have stuff set up, and it's said if Don King says something's supposed to go a certain way, it's best for you to let it go that way, because that's not one that you wanted to deal with back then in the boxing world, because he can mess, he'll shut your whole career down.
Right.
So it was a lot with that. But outside of that, some weeks or so before that Trinidad fight, my brother lost his daughter, my niece. She was 6 weeks old. A babysitter banged her head on a coffee table, said she was crying too much, and left her in the stroller out Maryland on Chilham Road at a 7-Eleven. And my brother actually never should have fought that fight, because mentally he wasn't there.
Man, I can see that for sure. If something like that happens with a man, boy, out, man.
Yeah, and to come back from that, and people would say, and like I said, one thing with Trinidad, and I mean, it all came out because a lot of stuff was speculated about Trinidad and his hand wraps all the way back to David Reed, when he messed up David Reed's retina. And it really came out when I think it was Hassim or whoever Bernard Hopkins' trainers was, the dude that passed away, the Muslim dude, went into Trinidad's dressing room before that fight and made Trinidad rewrap his hands. Trinidad didn't want to fight that fight. And when he rewrapped his hands and got in there, none of his punches affected Bernard. And after that fight, Trinidad was never the same.
Yeah, because somebody in the chat said something about that Trinidad had loaded gloves.
Yeah, he did. He had, it was something like, when you go to the doctors, if you break your arm and they put that cast on you, but they wet it first and then it hardens up. So it was said that it was something like that they put on. So when the refs check it, it's still soft, but by the time it gets to the ring, it's hard.
Right.
And me, I've seen a dude take a golf club and hit my brother upside the head, and he turn around and take the golf club from the dude and whip him. My brother told me, he said, man, I ain't never been hit that hard, ever. He said, it felt like bats.
Wow. God.
But if they didn't stop that fight, my brother would have died in that ring, because he wasn't going to stop. He wasn't going to stop. But mentally, he really wasn't there. He didn't fight the fight that he normally knows how to, because he can box, and he can box both ways, southpaw and orthodox. He didn't box. He threw over 200 punches in the first round. Like, he wasn't there. He was standing in front of him. That's not him. If you look at all his fights before that, he moves around. He knows how to box. He got a heck of a jab. And I mean, he didn't control that fight. He wasn't mentally there, that fight. In his whole career, I would say the only fight that I think that he would have lost or would have been close is with Bernard Hopkins. That's the only fight that because I got much respect for Bernard, and Bernard can go. But Jermaine Teller, no, he wasn't there. And Trinidad, he mentally wasn't there. In the Bernard Hopkins fight, Bernard Hopkins bet him $50,000 that he was gonna knock him out. My brother was like, all right, we can go. And he was like, you ain't gonna knock me out. And they went 12 rounds. And after that fight in Atlantic City, my brother literally changed his clothes and walked back to his dressing room. Don King ain't even have a limo or nothing for him. He walked back to his dressing room. I mean, to his hotel. He just mentally wasn't there. Hello? Hello?
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. My bad.
Oh, yeah. It's all good.
My fault. I was saying Margarito had that problem too. I remember when Antonio Margarito had a fight I was watching, and he beat a dude ear, like his ear was hanging off his head.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Loaded gun, loaded gloves.
Yeah. So that just shows you how dangerous them things can be. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? When he fought what's his name? The Puerto Rican guy. What is his name? Cotto. When he fought
Oh,
Cotto, man, he lumped him up something serious the first time.
oh,
But
yeah. And that,
after he got caught, Cotto came back and whooped on that butt.
yeah. And that's the same thing that happened with Trinidad, because if you look at it, if you look at all of Trinidad's fights before he fought Bernard Hopkins, after his fights, he never took his gloves off in the ring. And then if you look at all of them after Bernard Hopkins, everybody demolished him. He ain't do nothing with nobody. Everybody beat the brakes off him because he didn't have, you know, he didn't have that power to wear nobody down no more. So they was just walking through him.
So that's why Tito's punches was feeling like that to your brother, man.
Yeah.
I bet you that's true, man. I could see that, man.
Yeah.
So you know, the career of your brother, man, has been, very inspiring, man. You know what I'm saying? To come from where y'all came from and
Yeah.
where he was at, you know what I'm saying? But I do want to still talk about the 2 titles that he won after Trinidad, though, because that's
Yeah.
man, that's part of his legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now in my opinion, that needs to be brought out. It needs to, he deserved that, So let's talk about the first title that he won after Trinidad.
Yeah, I think he fought Hasim Sharifi.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said, he just was naturally skilled really after the Trinidad fight. I mean, he said it multiple times. He didn't have the hunger no more. That stuff that happened to my niece was, I mean, it was life changing for him.
Yeah.
He just lost the hunger. And then on top of that, even during that Trinidad fight, it was some stuff that happened at the gym that, somebody was repoing Adrian Davis's van, and one of the fighters in there broke the repo guy's jaw. And because my brother was the big name there, they tried to sue my brother, but it was a whole nother guy that did it, dude named Sugar Poo. And my brother had to whip that dude. I mean, it was so much going on around that time, with that, just so much stuff that he just didn't care anymore. He started seeing people that was in his corner, but only in his corner because of what they could get from him.
Right.
So he just started really withdrawing from it, and then he lost the Trinidad fight, and he lost his daughter, but he knew that was his career. Money was taken from him, and he started realizing that with Don King, that he wasn't getting the money he was supposed to be getting, and when things like that happen back to back to back to back, it takes a lot to come from that, and then he started kind of drinking, which really started altering a lot of things, but he still just was naturally skilled, and in his contract, he still had to fight, and he beat Hasim Sharifi. And then I think he fought Jermaine Taylor after that, and he lost to Jermaine Taylor. Then he came back and fought someone. I can't remember the third time that he won the title for the third time. And then after that third time, I think that's when he lost to Bernard Hopkins. And then it pretty much was downhill after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it pretty much was downhill after that. But again, like, you know, him coming from what we come from, only, you know, amateur boxing for 1 year, turning pro, you know, I always tell my brother to this day, you know, bruh, you did something that most people couldn't do. It's like only one person that, you know, really just started boxing at a late age and, you know, did something. And that's why I give big respect for Deontay Wilder. But because he only started boxing because he needed to take care of his daughter, you know, and he made it. You know, I mean, he can't. I mean, I'm sorry, I gotta say, I don't know if nobody else know. He can't box, but I don't know what he got in that right hand. But
Hey man, hey, I tell you this, man. I really respect Wilder for what he has done, man.
yeah,
His daughter was sick, man. She had
yeah,
a disease, and
yeah,
what made him start boxing, man. And to come from that, bro, he was driving it like a Coca-Cola truck at the time,
mm-hmm,
and when he decided to start boxing at what, like 19, then go
yeah,
straight to the Olympics, and then
yeah,
become a multi-millionaire, man, and be able to help your baby live.
yeah, yeah. Nah, I mean,
That's
that's the
what
thing. Like
I respect that over everything. And then,
over everything,
people say he can't box, and maybe he can't, but he's done knocked out a whole lot of grown men with
grown men.
what he got. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
and he keep it 100, man.
yeah,
I'm a part of a group called the LDBC, man.
mm-hmm,
And we pro wild over here, man, and we pro black over here. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And anybody that's keeping it real with the people, that's who we ride with. You feel me?
yeah, yeah,
Wilder, when he did the famous "till this day" quote. You know what I'm saying? When he was talking
yeah,
about how our people have been oppressed, you
yeah.
know, and that stuff really resonates with me, man.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
it makes me want to support him.
yeah.
Win,
Yeah, I
lose.
mean, I definitely support him. I definitely commend what he's done. You know, because I tell anybody, you know, MMA. You know, I do boxing and I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You know, I do all. I'm a black belt, third degree in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I ain't getting in no cage and doing no MMA fighting. To
Right,
me, you know, and much respect to all the MMA fighters or whatever, but to me, anybody can get into MMA and can possibly be successful. Because if you can't box, you can wrestle. If you can't wrestle, you can kick, you can grab, you can do all of that. It's a skill behind it, but anybody can do it. But anybody can't just get in a boxing ring and think that they're gonna box. You're
right.
not doing that. Boxing ain't no something that you can just play. MMA is something, you know, and like I said, I have much respect for all MMA fighters. I do all the grappling and stuff, but it's not something that's as skilled as you got to be as boxing. You're not jumping in the ring thinking that you can just box and you're gonna be super successful. And for Wilder to do what he did, you know, late, for my brother to do what he did late, you know, those are kids that were born gifted, and there are people that are just naturally born gifted. I mean, you go back to Bo Jackson, who didn't train or nothing, just was naturally skilled. I even give Deion Sanders that because he could play football, baseball, and basketball. You know, you got people that are just naturally skilled. And that's one thing I give respect for Wilder, to come out and do what he did, you know, but it wasn't just a natural skill. Wilder had his child on his mind. And I think any man, if that's, you find something that you're going to do to be successful, to take care of your family, you're going to
Yeah,
be successful, because that's, you know, and that was his motivation. And I got big respect for him. Big respect. I mean, I pick with people because I'm like, man, the man cannot box. But I'm
yeah,
telling you, if he touch you with that right hand,
Yeah.
you better go ahead and grab your comforter because you're going to sleep.
Hey, you see, I got him in my intro.
Yeah. Oh man, when he hit that Brazil dude, I said, man, he ain't hit him, he shot him. Cause that
Shot.
man felt like he got shot, boy. I said, man, he killed him.
Hey, I made that beat on that intro and everything.
Oh wow, that's talent there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it on the way out though. But
Yeah.
I wanted to get your opinion on any upcoming fights that you are excited to see.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this one that's coming up that they got a Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I think
fan.
that's a heck of a fight, man. The only issue is I got with Ryan is that those looping hooks that he throw, and those looping hooks was what got him caught with Gervonta Tank Davis.
Yeah.
I think he needs to work on them being a little more closer, in tight where he's protecting himself. But then, really, Devin Haney got much respect for all of these kids. I mean, boxing is serious, but I know boxing. He hasn't impressed me. The Lomachenko fight, I don't think he won that fight. I think they robbed Lomachenko. And I've watched that fight multiple times. But I don't take nothing from Devin Haney. It's just certain things that I see in him that just haven't impressed me. The Cambosa, I mean, he beat him, but I need to see him against somebody like I would really like to see him against Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez is so questionable. You don't know who's coming. If the one that fought Josh Taylor come and fight Devin Haney, I think that would be something. But to see, yeah, but you don't.
I want to see Devin versus Tank. That's really the fight to make.
I mean, no, I mean that is the fight to make. I mean, that one right there, that's no question. That's the fight to make, but I don't know, what's the holdup with that. And even like Tank, Tank showed me a little bit, of his boxing, but Tank, and I don't know if he does it. A lot of people, get into like me, if I play basketball and I play against you and you're not very good, then it doesn't bring my level out, and Tank is like he fights to his competition. But then I'm like, do he fight to his competition or do he really know how to box? Because when he fought that Leo Santa Cruz, man, dude, I'm thinking maybe Tank was like, well, he don't have no knockout power to knock me out. He not hurting me. I'm just gonna walk him down because he was getting caught too much.
Yeah.
But then when he fought Ryan Garcia, he got hit with a couple shots, but then he started staying away in boxing and he timed everything, so that's.
I want to see it, man. So
I know I do.
So we can put all the bull crap to bed. You know what I'm saying? Because people on this side think they man gonna win. People on that side think they man gonna win. But we can think all we want. But until they fight, we ain't gonna know.
Yeah, I mean it'll be something because man, Tank got bricks in both hands. So but I mean that fight, but I'm gonna tell you what I would like to see though for real. Tank and Shakur.
Oh yeah. I would love to see that too. And I want to know what name being made.
Yeah. I would like to see that. Everybody, the people, and they talking about Shakur as a runner, man. Shakur, and he, who he come up with. You know who he in the gym with every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. He in there with Bud every day. So
he didn't look too good that last fight, man. I wouldn't necessarily say he ran, but he just didn't engage like he needed to in order to win impressively. You know what I'm saying? He did enough.
I mean, but you gotta understand, with boxing, man, everybody don't come. I mean, sometimes you have your night, sometimes you don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he
Yeah,
didn't have his night,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
said it before the fight that he wasn't, 100% or whatever. But he said he's not gonna make no excuses. He was going to win the fight, but and some nights you just don't have it. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right,
mean,
right,
that's
right,
just with anything you do. Michael Jordan ain't play every single game, and he was on
right.
100.
Right. Yeah,
Wasn't.
that's right.
Even LeBron, everybody has their nights, you know what I'm saying? And that's in any sport, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? But people
Hey,
that
what
watch
about?
boxing
Go ahead. Go
are
ahead.
always going, people that watch boxing are always going to have their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Nobody understands what it takes to get in that ring. People that be saying stuff, and I follow the little boxing things, and people be saying stuff, and I'm like, bro, you couldn't even last 3 minutes in that jump. Like you saying that like something you don't know. I've been in the ring. I've
Yeah.
sparred with people. Like it ain't the same. What you watching on TV, you watching it, but if you just watching it and not understanding it, you would never know what it's like in that ring.
Right. Right. Hey, so
But
what you think about the better be a Bibble fight?
oh, that's gonna be a fight. I think
Woo.
that's gonna be a fight, man. But that what is it? The one that looked like Wolverine?
But yeah, better be a.
Oh man,
Man, he nice, ain't he?
and he hit hard.
And he hit hard.
Yeah, that.
And he throw combos, great footwork. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I like his humbleness because
yeah,
every time
right.
he always say, "I just want to be a good boxer one day."
Yeah. Nah, he's tough, and I mean he got bricks in both hands.
That's
Bivol is good. He know how to box, and I like how he boxed Canelo. I think Better Beer is and Canelo has similar styles. It's
right.
I think Better Beer is a little more aggressive, a little more coming forward, and he's trying to get you out of there. And that's where I think the difference is going to be with him and Bivol. I think he's going to come at him. I think if Canelo would have came at Bivol a little more, it might have been a different outcome, but he didn't, because I think he felt Bivol's power and it kept him at bay.
Also, Bibble's jab too.
Yeah, that
Bibble,
jab. I
Bibble
mean,
had that stick on him.
who Larry Holmes to me had the best jab in boxing,
Yes, sir.
and the jab is supposed to is the best punch in boxing. If you got a good jab, and I mean, I tell you, the jab that Crawford was hitting Earl with was looking like a Larry Holmes jab.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
jab is mean. I don't like, even when I teach boxing, I teach kids the jab. The jab is the first punch. That's the best punch. And
Right.
when you know how to step into it, man, you can end fights. My brother knocked out plenty of people with the jab in amateur.
I done got two with the jab. And it
Yeah,
wasn't a knockout. It was a stop the fight. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? With a
yeah,
jab. And
yeah.
that's as good as a knockout when you're in the street, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So is there anything that you might want the people to know, about your brother that you haven't said? Or
Um,
you think you covered everything?
I mean, I pretty much I think I covered everything. Just to understand that, he come we had some tough things coming up, and where we come from, and he's always been just a laid back. I mean, he's humble, but he's a to himself type of person, and you never know a boxer's story. You know what I'm saying? People always want to have their opinions and stuff. And I'm glad that I was able to, address some things, because people didn't know. They didn't know his daughter got killed before the Trinidad fight. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know these things. They didn't know that he started boxing at 21 when he got out of 7 locks after doing 18 months. He didn't know that he only boxed amateur for 1 year. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he went in the open. He was boxing. All his first fights was people that won Golden Gloves. And I mean, he went undefeated all the way to the Olympic trials, until he lost to Chris Bird. I mean, he just was a natural fighter. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? But then that losing his daughter really changed his whole life
right.
in boxing, on top of you know, you dealing with Don King back then, man. It was what Don King said. You know, it's a lot of, you know, politics like now that you see in boxing. I mean, when the Sugar Ray Leonard and her Hagler era, everybody fought everybody. Then it started changing in my brother's era. Now and it's like it's all about the money. You know, they taking the love out of the sport because everybody's just, I want money, I want money. And I understand that you want to protect yourself, but it's just not the same anymore. You know, but my brother came up in an era where there was some great fighters and he was successful, you
Right.
know, in that era, coming from what we came from, you know,
Right.
and he's now he rides the bus down George Washington hospital, you know, he chill, he a fat boy now. He's starting back training, but he a fat boy now. But you
Uh-huh.
know, out of all things, even though he's not one to play with, he's a good dude though. You know,
Right.
he would give you the shirt off
Well,
your back, but
now, now,
don't play him though.
he said now he a good dude. He didn't used to be, but now he is.
Yeah, nah, I mean he's always been a good dude, but he always had a chip on his shoulder.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean if he mess with you, he
Yeah.
mess with you. But if you
Yeah.
show any, he was one like a pit bull that once he seen that you was sneaky and weak, you couldn't be around him.
Right.
He didn't
Right.
any of that blinking and all of that. He was you couldn't be around him. But if he had your back, like him and I mean, I kind of was jealous of my cousin Rico,
Oh, yeah.
because him and my brother was closer than me and my brother. You know, and that was, I mean, that's our first cousin. They grew up together, but my brother, like my cousin Rico. I'm gonna tell you this story. When my cousin Rico, I was in high school, and I came over my grandma's house. He was staying with my grandmother,
Uh,
and I had got to fighting in school and dirtied up my New Balance. And I came in my grandmother's house and I went in my cousin Rico room, and he had the same New Balance as I had, but his was brand new. So, you know, I grabbed a toothbrush, I washed mine off a little bit, and I switched them. So my cousin Rico like, damn, Steve, you gonna take my New Balance, this and that. You know, my cousin Rico was good hearted. He really wasn't tripping. Nigga,
uh-huh.
my brother beat me up for taking the shoes.
Wow.
Beat me up for taking my cousin Rico. Like when he was close to you, he was close to you. You know what I'm saying? And I just, you know, I don't feel that a lot of times he get the respect that he should get. You know, he ain't one to want to be in the limelight or none of that stuff. He wants to be in the back or whatever. But you know, people don't understand getting in that ring, living that life of boxing. It takes a lot, but you also got to be a different person mentally, because it's not easy.
Yeah, I'm
Not
sure, man.
easy. Like I said, you can play football, you can play basketball because you got teammates, you got people. Boxing, when you get in that ring, it's only you. Ain't
Right.
nobody in there with you. It's you and the other person that's trying to knock your head off. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the same. And then, like I said, when you bust or you running like Shakur, you know, or you lose like Earl Spencer, everybody, oh, he washed up, he this, oh, he's a track runner, he's this. Man, you don't understand what these guys go through in boxing because you just watch it. You don't understand it.
Right.
You know, and that's why people run to that MMA. You want to see somebody kick and break somebody's jaw and all of that stuff, man. These are brutal sports.
Yeah, I don't even watch MMA, man. I used to, but I just don't watch it, man. It's just me. It's like I ain't got nothing against it. I just
Yeah,
don't watch it. You know, it's like football. You know, when it happened with Kaepernick, I started watching
yeah,
football, and
yeah,
and,
yeah. I
and I
mean,
still haven't been able to get back into it like I used to be.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yep.
That's just how it is, man. But hey, you got any last words that you want to say to the people, man?
Man, I mean,
You on
I
social
appreciate.
media? You on social media?
Yeah, yeah. I got Instagram and
Oh,
Facebook.
shout your stuff out, man.
My Instagram is no, my Facebook is Steve Aubrey Steve, AubreySteve. My my Instagram is Gifted Hands Moving. That's my moving company. I don't really, I be on there and I post a little inspirational stuff here and there. I don't really be on it too much. I've been actually thinking about doing one of these podcasts and stuff one day myself. I just haven't really had the time to. But
You should.
I just want.
Maybe I'll talk to you behind the scenes, man. We might be able to join forces or something, man.
Yeah, I
You know?
definitely do that. I mean, I just leave people with, just understand the sport of boxing, man. These people that's putting their life on the line to entertain y'all. You know what I'm saying? Give them the love and the respect that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? Like, they lose a fight, they're not, performing how you want them to perform. Man, just still cheer them on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not easy. It's not easy in this sport, man. And just support them. Just support everybody, man, and keep doing. And you keep doing what you're doing, man, because this is a blessing. This is something that I appreciate, to even be able to be a voice for my brother. I mean, he does little things here and there, but like I said, he keeps to himself. He don't really, do too much stuff, publicly. He does have a breakfast with boxers. He has this thing that he started, this nonprofit, Breakfast with Boxers, and a lot of stuff is about to come out that you can follow on, on my Instagram or my Facebook, because I'll post those things. He's getting ready to have a 5K. But what he does is he goes to homeless shelters and different places, and he feeds the homeless, food, and just breaks bread with them, and gives his story and his testimony to, homeless people and people that are living in shelters and stuff, and letting them know, don't give up on yourself, because that's when it's over, when you give up on yourself. The world, at times, even as the Bible say, in this world, you're going to face trials and tribulations, but be of good cheer. Jesus gave us that example that it's all right to ask questions, because he went to the garden and prayed 3 times. You know what I'm saying? That, take this cup from me, but Father, whatever your will is, you cannot give up on yourself. You got to trust and believe in yourself, because like I said, if you do put your trust in man, you're going to be disappointed. So like I said, this is a great podcast. I thank you for allowing me to, give a part of my brother's story, that why he's still here. You know what I'm saying? And it's a blessing, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure, bro. It's my pleasure, man. I'm glad we got to hook up, man. I appreciate you for coming through, man, and sharing your story and your brother's story. And it's an honor for me to be, the person to be able to bring this out, man. And I appreciate
Definitely,
it.
bro. Definitely.
So I'm gonna get on out of here, man. And we'll link up again or something, man. I got your number. You got,
Definitely.
you know what I'm saying? We'll link up again and kick it, man, because I love this sport of boxing, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
All I want to
definitely.
see is the best versus the best.
That's it.
That's all I
That's
want
it.
to see. That's all I want to, and I don't think that's asking for too much.
Nah. Nah,
You
I mean,
know,
and that's all I want to see. I mean, fight. That's all. If this is what you do for a living, then fight. I mean, that's what it is. At the end of the day, the best fight the best. We see who the best, and keep it moving. I mean, you're gonna get paid. I understand you want your money, but hey, this is the sport that you chose.
that's right,
Just
man.
fight. Just fight. But nah,
Absolutely.
anytime, brother, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you got going on, if it's something that I can help or support you with, definitely hit me up, man. Like I said, our timing ain't never the right timing, but God's timing is always on time. So
Yes, sir. And and peace out to you, bro, man.
same to you, bro. And appreciate everybody that's listening and watching, man. Y'all have a blessed weekend, bro. And like I said, just hit me up anytime.
For sure.
All
All
right,
right.
bro. Be safe, be
All right.
easy.
You too, man.
All right.
Yeah. That was with Steve Joppy, the brother of William Joppy, middleweight champion of the world. And salute to everybody that came in the building, stayed with us. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all of y'all, man. So we about to get on out of here.